Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Acroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Red Team or Team 1 in the northeast corner of the map, and ending with Blue Team or Team 2 in the southwest. Starting off with the Ruby Red player of Info Action Ratio, going first, land as a Cybran, and like I said, in Ruby Red. To the southwest, another Cybran on Team Red. It is J74 going first air as a Cybran in Chevy Crimson. Last but not least, for Team 1 in orange, the color orange, it is Luker going first land as a UBF. Team 1 side of things for racial makeup, it is 2 Cybrans and 1 UBF. No Aeon and no Seraphim to speak of. To the southwest on Team 2, starting off, we have JJ Sheridan going first land as an Aeon in Stitch Blue. To his northeast, we have Gib 80, or just probably Gib for short, going first land, second air in Royal Blue as another Aeon. And last but not least, here for Team 2, it is Mega Meon. I think I call him Mega for short. Going first land as a Cybran in Amethyst Purple. So for Team 2 side of things, they have 2 Aeon and 1 Cybran. No UEF tech for Team 2, and no Seraphim tech for Team 2 as well. So that is going to be no Seraphim appearing at all in this game. Apologies for those who love those Awasha Bombers or those Zooies. But again, it's going to be UEF and Cybran versus Aeon and Cybran. Let's take a look at Reclaim here on the map. We have 4,000, almost even. It's not a lot of Reclaim on this map. It's going to be heavily focused on getting those T2 mass fabricators online, as well as just going for Rascoms, essentially. This game is a tiny bit over an hour as per the time code on the video. So again, just letting you know at the head of the video, we are seeing movement here to the north from the player of Mega Meon. And again, this map is kind of weird. As you can tell, there's a lot of just open land here in the southeast section of the map. There is a large section of mexes, 3 on each side, with additional 3 further out from the corner. But essentially, there's really nothing in the middle to fight over. A couple of mexes, and that's really about it. And a lot of these, I mean, I think maybe you can get a unit across that little slope there, but that's, I mean, there's a lot of plateaus, a lot of, just open land, a lot of mountains. There's really very hard to traverse here, so we'll see probably a lot of action here on this northwest corner. And maybe we will see some fight over here to the southeast, but the only way to get here is by air. So if one player gets here before the other and just locks it down with a lot of AA, it's going to be very difficult to take that. That could essentially guarantee 6 T3 mexes fully ringed. That's a lot of mass. What is that, 27 mass? That's like over 100 mass. It's a lot of mass to just say you can't have it because we have AA and you don't, or you can't get there and land, essentially. Maybe we'll see a big push from our air players to get there. We're already seeing a transport on its way here from the rearguard airside player of JJ, moving in with some T1 bombers from both him and the player of Gib. They are taking my advice to heart and going for this corner. Same thing at the same time, and we already have some movement to the northwest from both of our teams here. We also have Luker not advancing as far as his opponent is, but he's going for a nice production facility here first and then going to push more northeastwardly. That drop does occur with that chariot on board with some engineers. We are seeing a drop here. Will it drop before here? No, there is a little rock they can grab. It does look like that does drop. And that's going to be 1 Mex here. And then we'll see if that goes further on. And it will. Will it get shot down? There's not really a lot of AA in the area or interceptors. It's going to be a land battle here in this northeast corner. We have to keep a lookout for that as time progresses. But a lot of the combat early on is going to be over here to the northwest. 2 teams essentially going to meet. I feel like it's going to be 2 air players on both teams versus 1 land player. Just the middle of the map is kind of just devoid of a lot of stuff. So, and it's just very difficult to traverse. It does look like on this lower section here, you can get to this other side of the map from just the land. But again, it's this upper plateau area that units will have to traverse. And it's just very chopped up. It's like somebody just grinded up the map and said, okay, this part's up here, this part's down here. That's about it. But we have a T1 bomber taking out that mass extractor. Well, they went after the engineer first. But we'll probably won't get a whole lot of work done, unfortunately. One engineer, but such of a spread out map is very difficult. It does look like that engineer for Team 2 was taken out before it could deploy a T1 land facility. So it does look like Team 1 will own this section of the map. A lot of interceptors from both players on Team 1 wanting to hold this position as long as possible. They have spotted that transport. It is on its way. Interceptors will probably be engaged here pretty quickly to deny this push, and interceptors are called forth. Will this transport make it? We are seeing some push from T1 units against Luker, but again, the calm is there. Will the transport? Oh, it's slowing down. It's waiting for its interceptors, buddy. That's too late, though. You're getting too much time for those interceptors to attack you. You need to drop now. You cannot go any farther. You got to drop. Will they get it? Let's see. It's going to be close. They're targeting one of those engineers. Oh, they do drop with 3 engineers. You need a facility now. And there it goes. There is the command to do so. This position is not solely owned by Team 1 as of yet, but bombers are on its way to deal with that. One of the engineers does get out of the way. It'll kill 1, 2 of them. There's 1 engineer. It's not enough. Team 1 is still going to hold control over that side of the map for now. Not really looking good for Team 2 on the southeastern side, but they are pushing a lot on this northwestern side of the map, denying, or at least trying to deny advancement for Luker on this western approach. The comm of a Mega Meon, or Mega for short, is, kind of patrolling the map, just doesn't want to make sure that there's no, sneaky attacks or anything of the sort, because there is some water here, and units could easily just kind of do a hook maneuver around that central position here. But you can see there's a lot of pressure by Team 1 to just secure this northeastern corner. We do have a couple of flares on the approach, but there is a T1 PD that has been deployed, and these 2 units will be taken out here very quickly. There goes one, and then there goes the other. A lot of this focus will probably be a lot of eco building, and we are seeing at 7.5 minutes or so, Team 2 at 117, Team 1 at 116, 115. But Team 1 does have more T1 Mechs in the southeast corner. We are seeing, again, does look like Team 2 looks like they're focusing a little bit more on upgrading versus Team 1 and going for more of the easy, quick land grab. Though there is advantages and disadvantages to both. We are seeing some engineers dropped off, grabbing that rock and then going for a straight T1 Mechs. Yeah, probably build a land facility. Doesn't look like they tried to traverse this little... I don't even know what you would call this here, but I don't really know. I just hill slope kind of trail area. We'll have to see as time goes on. Gun speed and range going down here for the player of Mega. T2 on the way for Luker. Very typical play. Cybern being more aggressive and the UEF being more tanky and more defensive. And honestly, it's really only going to go one way unless the player of Mega can build a huge land army and just push against Luker. He'll just build a bunch of triads and shields and just call it a day. So it's going to be very difficult for Team 2 to break that position for now. But a transport of some flares are on board and some, looks like some engineers as well. That transport will drop. That one, oh, it's going to be, oh, it drops just barely. The engineers do land. And so the flares are going to go after these T1 Mechs. But bombers immediately kill those engineers. That facility will not be online. There's a lot of air pressure early on from both of our teams. Team 1 getting a nice lion's share of the engagements. And, of course, very much more aggressive with their bombers. And they have now fully secured the southeastern portion of the map. Now intercept a fight over the middle. Team 2 needs to be thinking about getting T3 air up and running as quickly as possible to get some sort of leverage in this game. And they already have T2 on the way, or they already have it completed. Team 1 does have T2 landers going straight for T3, and it's pumping out as many facilities as he can to do so. But we have 2 players on Team 2, or Blue Team, having T2 facilities. One of them, neither of them on that upgrade, trying to get more of those page-ins online to do so. They might be a little bit behind, but since two players are already at T2, it's going to be a lot easier to overpower their opponent as time goes on. I don't see any move to go T3. And that upgrade does look like it's kind of slow. Needs probably another needs another T2 B-Gen to help assist with that speed and power costs. Let's check out his eco just quickly. He does have the eco for it, but is he assisting? He's not assisting, so that's why it's taking a decent amount of time. He's building that other P-Gen first, and then will probably assist. But another push by Mega Meon with his commander. And there are some mongeese here to the east here from Luca. They are long-range units. They pretty much fire like the Ravagers, except they're a lot weaker and don't have as much range, and they're mobile. But you can see that cannon just constantly firing all the time. But you can see only 650 hit points. Mega Meon is being focused down heavily by the units from Luca. He needs some assistance from his teammates. Trying to stay at range against these mongeese. A shield will come and assist with protection. He needs to get into that water as quickly as possible, dropping hit points quite quickly below 6,000. Has a rank of it. Actually doesn't have a rank of veterancy. Almost does. And now Luca will secure this position quite decently. He does have some triads. Upgrading mechs is going to build some TMD next. These units are going to have to be retreat just due to this pressure from the mongeese. Usually UEA players do build pillars. They're more, I wouldn't say reliable, but they're better on the front lines. And but long range mongeese, very effective at taking out T1 units. So he does need to build some hoplites and build some rhinos to help tank some of that incoming damage. The comm of Jay is actually up here on this upper plateau. Kind of an interesting play. He's all by his lonesome, doesn't have any protection, and can easily be strat sniped if Team 2 gets to that stage here pretty quickly. We are approaching 12 minutes. Team 1 does not have that upgrade finished yet. They're at 83%. Team 2 should be thinking about it. 9% for that one. And 100% Team 2's play of JJ Sheridan has surpassed the middle player here for Jay and is now going for T3. He'll build some engineers, get that T3 P-Gen, build his spy plane, and then produce some ASFs to start conquering the skies once again. Lots of intel installation, gathering buildings for info action. A nice little range. You can see the range that they have on this. Almost the entire eastern edge of the map is covered by his little radars here, and they're upgrading to T2. This one's a good pick. I think I choose maybe this one because it's protected, and it is upgrading. It's protected by a little mountain there. It's harder for bombers to attack it. But we are seeing some pushing on the ground here from the player of Gib, trying to at least knock out this position, at least gain some ground on that eastern side of the map. Again, as I noticed earlier, Luker just kind of hulking down, not doing as much tanking as just getting his eco up a little bit more to produce more of these mongeese. That's a lot of mongeese. I don't see any pillars in that mix. He does need to have a couple of those to tank the incoming damage from Team 2. We're seeing some missiles, lots of hoplites. No rhinos or no tanks from either team. Kind of weird. But the comm of Jay does get back over here. It does look like he can move on this little slope here. So the transport was not needed earlier on. But, it's a lot easier just to fly it than just to walk it. So saves a lot of time. That army from Gib not pushing forward just as of yet. They need to make a move quickly to capitalize. We are seeing more efforts here from Info to just push and push, producing those T1 factories. But T3 has been achieved from both players on Team 2. Team 1 does have their own, of course, but they are again a little bit behind. But Team 1 or Red Team also has Info at T3. He got up there real quick. So both air players on both teams have T3 tech. Team 2 or Blue Team is slightly ahead, I feel like, but just barely. Not a huge issue for either teams to kind of take control or keep control. In this case, Red Team keep control. Yeah, lots of... do we see what's the build order? It does look like there is a strat bomber starting to be built here from JJ. Don't see the build order for give. But we are seeing a movement once again. There's a lot of mongoose here. They are going to retreat, and they can fire while moving, of course. They're going to retreat as they can. It looks like they're trying to intercept units coming in on that southern side of his position. And they're actually going to come in over here. I don't know where they're going to go because they're going to just be stuck here. But maybe they're trying to pull the mongoose in closer. I don't really know. The missiles can reach the mongoose in this position, but maybe they're trying to use the environment to their advantage and just shoot over the little ridge here. I think that's what's going on. Missiles are launching against this position constantly from these Vipers. And the Vipers do split, and so they'll be able to at least avoid most of the incoming damage from those buzz kills. The mongoose are going to have to move in to deal with this, and we are seeing those triads fire onto those units here from Luker. They're just sitting just barely out of range, though. Those PD cannot activate. He needs to put some, like, right here would be a good place to put them. But again, missiles and from these hoplites and from the Vipers constantly firing on these parashields, but there's a lot of mongoose here. And the mongoose have to be macroed pretty heavily or they just die very quickly. To the east, we are seeing that army here from Team 2. See, they could have pushed it early and probably knocked it out, but they waited too long. And it's not going to go very well. But we are seeing some T1 Inties going to be killed by ground units and Arty. That's so terrible to see air units killed by non-air unit targeting units. It's just very terrible. But a group of chariots built up for some reason. Don't know what he's doing with those. We'll have to check on that as time goes on. But Team 1 bomber is going to be called forth to take out some of these units. Will be annihilated by AA. But here comes those units in from Info. Going to try to sandwich these units in from Gip. But he is having some bomber support, taking on a lot of hit points. And those Fervors trying to do what they can to target those Mantis. But again, the Mantis move quick. And Arty is very hard to target and is very hard to hit moving targets. And no one has died at 16, 17 minutes. Very nice so far. Again, it's a little slow, but there is bits of action happening all the time. T3 Strat Bomber being assaulted by an ASF here gets annihilated on its turn. Team 2 does need to be aware that Team 1 knows about it, so they can't use it as much. It takes out a T2 Mass Extractor fully ringed, so it drops the eco just a little bit. Speaking of which, Team 2 ahead by about 60 mass per second. It's a decent chunk at 17 minutes. Team 1 has accrued more mass, but that will slowly go in favor of Team 2, however, as the time progresses. And they've almost crossed 400 before Team 1 has crossed 300. Oh, never mind. They just did. Forget what I said. But Team 1 bombers being used en masse to take out these T1 units. A lot more emphasis needs to be put on this position by Team 2's player of Gib just to puncture this, because it's just, it's a narrow environment, and it's just very hard to get around these PD, and especially with bombers coming in all the time. Looks like an air fight might ensue. We'll have to see. Again, bombers being called forth all the time. Units having to retreat constantly. These units down here not really doing much of anything. There's no AA really to speak of. A couple of AA units, but no emplacements at all. It's essentially just holding, not even upgrading. Oh, they are, but slowly. This is a huge grab by Team 1, but they're not really utilizing it as much as they probably should. Team 2 isn't even... They could send the Strat Bomber and kill everything there if they're just not doing that. The Strat Bomber is just flying back and forth, not wanting to be targeted, which I don't blame them. It's a lot of mass and energy to produce that thing, but you got to use it when you have it. So... That's the thing with Strat Bombers. You just got to use it. If you don't use it and it dies at base, it doesn't do anything. Restore is being built here by Give, the strongest gunship in terms of AA in the game. Not really good at taking out ground targets, but against an air game where a lot of it does matter of how many ASFs and air units the other team has, it does make a difference. Transports are hoovering up groups of Team 1 units, and they're going to push through the middle. Maybe they'll even go after the comm. That'd be a nice hot drop here in the middle of the map. There are ASFs nearby that can easily take out those those transports. So we'll have to see where they go. They're going to go straight in. Oh, it's not going to be good. Both players on Team 1 have their ASFs positioned. And they'll notice the transports, and they're not moving. There goes 1, there goes 2, there goes 3, there goes 4, and there goes 5. Those were wasted. Should have just sent them in immediately regardless, and now Team 1 will have air control. And that move didn't really go anywhere. That Strat Bomber will be able to take out a couple of Mexes, but again, they're only really T1, T2. They're not really heavy targets, and it will be shot over enemy territory and land in a place where engineers can grab it. So not used as effectively as it probably should have been. But it just did annoy Team 1, but didn't really like inflict heavy damage. Group of bombers. Group of Team 1 bombers here for Gib. See what he's doing. Oh, I keep pushing the wrong button. I keep pushing Alt when I need to push Shift. I'm going to put him in this corner, but again, it's not really going to go anywhere. We're seeing, again, more build up here from the player of Mega. We see, again, a lot of Mongies here. No pillars. Looks like he's holding off to T3, and yes, he is. He's building some Percy, skipping the Titan phase and going straight to Percy's. I would assume that Team 1 and Team 2 will probably build some artillery, some game enders pretty quickly, considering not a lot of damage is being done to either base. So a lot of eco will be able to scale very quickly. Team 2 at 500, at Team 1 at 450. Again, keeping about a 70 mass differential in this huge section of Mechs is not really being used. One's at T2, but needs to have a little more emphasis. Because again, Team 2 is not going after this position, so it's just free mass. They don't have to worry about a lot of defenses or anything. Just gear up. T2, at least T2 Mechs is fully ringed, just to get like the 9 mass per second. I know it's a large investment for T3. Essentially, it's, you know, a very far away from the main base and all that. Let's see if there's anything going on. We do have fights going on back and forth between our players. It does look like Luker is using that ranged advantage and is trying to shove Mega Meon back. He has a couple of Percys in tow as well, so lots of high strike, high alpha fire damage. But again, once he kills off the Mongies, which are very weak, the Percys come in to supplement. But we are seeing bricks appear here. And again, bricks are known for their high HP. We're talking about 7,200 versus 75. But again, it's rapid fire versus single fire damage. It's a lot of missiles coming in all the time, wanting to just deal with this incoming threat. There's only one parashield left online, so these units are very vulnerable to just missile and artillery fire. And they have to retreat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. T2 on the way for Jay. Again, he's very far forward in a very weird positioning. Yeah, he has his ASF nearby, but 4 or 5 Strat Bombers come in, he's dead. Maybe 4. Because I think it's 3,000 per bomb. So yeah, so he's, you know, he'll get T2, but still 4 or 5 and he's dead. Straight out, full stop. So he has to be very wary about that. But I don't think Team 2 is going to go after him initially, just due to the fact that that would just give eco to one player, and that's probably not a good idea. Because the more eco one player has, the better use they have. But Sheridan does not have a lot of mass to his disposal. Is he having power issues, maybe? No, he's... No. That's kind of weird. He doesn't have T3 Mexes as of yet. You would feel like he would have T3 Mexes by now. He needs to scale his eco up a little bit more. And we didn't even talk about ratings. The highest rated player on Team Red is Luker at essentially 1850. And Mega Meon is at 1750. And the lowest rated player on the game is 1277 at Info Action. With Team 2 kind of having the middle players, while Jay has the third highest rated player as well. So it's, again, the outliers versus the averages, essentially. And the average is, again, very close. 45 versus 62, 99%. It's a pretty close match in terms of skill levels. But, again, we're seeing a lot of air buildup by Red Team. They're really focusing on that, wanting to secure that air advantage. We're seeing some restores built up here, of course, for Gib. And he's building a portal, a quantum gateway to produce Rascoms. That's the only way to really scale your eco. We already see we see Info building a summoner, the T3 quantum gateway for these Cybrands, wanting to scale his eco up. And he's not building a lot of T2 Mexes as well, but he has almost double the mass in income that JJ has. So again, JJ short stacking it for his team, but his team slowly starting to lose that advantage as we see JR4 building so many T3 mexes. So I would like to see, again, more emphasis on the eco, because that will make a difference. There's not a lot of action going on. This is when you eco or when you push, one of the two, and you really want to do lasting damage. And I feel like lasting damage would be taking out Luker's T3 land headquarters, at least knocking him out of this position here. There's a lot of Percy's here. Going to be a lot of damage coming off those things, and this is not a significant army to take those out. Those bricks will be the first targets, and then after that, it is easy pickings. Essentially, the land players might just say, okay, we'll just leave it alone for now and focus on ecoing. And Luker's at 286 versus Mega's at 278, so very close for that. And then Gibbs at 360 versus 350, with Info leading his mirror at about 80 more mass, so it's almost double the mass than his opponent. RAS being built for JJ, but it's been paused. Maybe he's building some assistance with his engineers probably, but he's building another air grid. And he needs more eco. I know he wants to build his air grid up, but he needs more eco to warrant having more air grid. I'm trying to see what Info is doing. He has the nano repair as well as T3, so he's pretty beefy right now. 98 hit points a second. Cybran, you are wait, says Info. What's going on? Don't know what's going on between those two. They could be on comms or something. I don't have access to Discord chats in this. I just have what's on the replay. I don't know what's going on between our teammates here if they are on comms. But we have a bunch of hoplites versus some T1 units here from Gib. And it is decently even, I feel like. But there's, again, a lot of damage coming off these hoplites. I wish they were pillars. No, not pillars. Rhinos. Those would be way more effective in this fight. But the engineer does abscond with its life. The Illumar does transport that T3 engineer out of there. And again, not really a huge push to go after this. Team 1 could really use this a lot more. They have T2 mexes, could get some mass storage on those, but a couple of restorers can be called forth to deal with Team 1 units. They're targeting the AA, but the ASFs come in for Team 1's player of Info, and the ASFs are called forth from Team 2's Sheridan. And they are going to wipe out those ASFs quite handedly. I wonder if the ASFs from the Crimson player of J will come in, though they will not. A lot of the ASFs are taken out. They lost the restorers. They're trying to do something with this engineer, but I really don't know what's going on with it. Those units will fall back, but essentially, Info lost his ASFs and Gib lost his gunships. There's only 2 of them. I don't know what was worth it. I feel like it's kind of even. But again, not really using, because he could use the gunship to take out this position, and you'd be denying, 54 mass against your opponent, which in this case is a decent amount. It would drop him pretty close to where JJ is currently. Where Fat Boy has been built by Luker, and that'll give him a huge advantage in this landing fight. But Mega has built an experimental, and he's built a Colossus gifted over from his teammates of Gib and JJ Sheridan, probably built by Gib. And he is focused on some land incursions, and he's obviously pumping out RAS comms. RAS upgrade being built here for JJ, wanting to get some more eco under his belt. And that Colossus is going to be huge for Team 2. But there's a lot of Percy's here, a lot of shields too, so some of that damage will be mitigated. But I think what they're hoping for is that Luker pushes his advantage with the Fat Boy close enough to where the Colossus can come in and strike. That would be my guess. But we'll have to see the movements. They're going to sit here. And this isn't an upper plateau. It's a lower plateau. So not really any coverage with this section of the map. So it's pretty open for that Fat Boy to target essentially anything on this northwestern side. The Mega is almost finished, and combined with the Colossus is devastating against just one Fat Boy. Second one is being built, of course, and we have SMD kind of spotting the map at the current moment. Neither team wanting to just be killed by a rogue nuke. I don't even think either team is building a nuke at the current moment, which would be a really good move at this point, because, I mean, no one's really building anything to really defend against it. So, I mean, you have SMD, but they're kind of sporadic. That Fat Boy will push forward. Do they know about the Colossus? No, they don't. They know nothing. So all that Colossus needs to do is get at least, if that if that Fat Boy gets to probably about here, it's golden for that. They see it. They have now spotted the Colossus. If they're paying attention, the Colossus is called forth. The shields are down. Team 2's player of Mega probably should have built some artillery. The Perseus are retreating at the current moment. And it's just a lot of free damage here for Team Red or Team Orange or Team 1 or whatever we're calling them. Biplanes are gonna come over here and see what's going on. They'll see the Mega being built. That will finish. Unless the Fat Boy targets the engineers, which I don't think he will. He will retreat just due to that presence of the GC. But a lot of damage was done to that fire base, so kind of hard to say who really won that fight. A lot more scouting going on here for Team Red than it is for Blue Team. I feel like that does give them a huge advantage just due to the fact that they know what's going on more. They're able to plan accordingly. Again, Team 1 is starting to lead the pack in eco at about over 100 mass per second. Close to 100 mass per second over their opponents. And Team 2 was leading for the longest time. Now Team 1 is winning, which means, you know, look at the strap bombers. We have 4, 8, we have 11 of them that can snipe a comm quite easily, or, you know, a decent amount of experimental's health. But now with that crab being built, the Colossus will go first, which is probably the better idea because it has the shorter range, and then the Mega will go forth as well. I mean, they could walk at the same time, but the Mega is, I think, slower. I think it is slower just by a little bit. I think. Like how it says massive, says the title, one of the tags for that Colossus. There's a lot more for the Mega. Of course, the Sirens are known for their versatility. That is just what they're known for. It's just their stick. You know, sprouting legs and walking on the land. It's kind of versatile, if you ask me. Huge air grid here for Gib. We have decentralized air grids here for JJ, and he's also building a portal. So hopefully he starts spamming out those Rascoms to help competing against his opponent of Info. Info's still about doubling his eco. Info is scaling a lot better. So in terms of the 27, essentially the 1300 for Team 1 is performing a lot better than his essentially 1500 not compatriot, mirror here on the southern portion of the map. Snipe air grid says J74. I mean, maybe. That is a huge mass fab farm going to be built here by Luker. You can see so many shields. It's going to take a while to chew through that if it's finished. Looks like it's even like a template. It was just sprung up at one time. That's a lot. That is a lot of mass. Gonna be a lot of power too. Team 1 will not really have to worry about power anymore, but 2 Fat Boys have now emerged here for Team 1, and they're building mass fab farms as well, kind of all over the place. You got to spread it out. You don't want one giant big target, because once that cascades, everything is dead. Shields go down even for a little bit. Mass fab goes down. 2 mass fab goes down at the same time nearby. That thing is gone. That's a massive target for Team 2 to shoot at. So Team 1 really needs to shield it. But the move from the strap bombers are on their way. Oh, I was going to, do the... I was going to take out the little images. Not the images, little icons. But they're starting to move the ASFs coming in to assist from Gib. The strap bombers are kind of on their own. Team 2 doesn't know about it. Oh, this is if they had radar, they would have seen it. Oh, that's disappointing. And now the strap bombers will be able to fly away. It was a good move on paper by red team, but just couldn't coordinate with the 2 different groups of ASFs. That's a massive amount of ASFs here for Team Red. It had 112, and some additional maybe 30. So essentially, we'll call it 150. And for Team 2, we got... that's the wrong group. 126. Oh, wow. 126 from JJ Sheridan. And 100. So 200, essentially about 220. So a 70 advantage. I mean, yeah, that's great. But Team 1 has more eco. So they could pump more out faster. But it does look like Team 2 is starting to catch up in that eco game. Slowly but surely. I don't see any attempt. We do see a potential disruptor online here for Team 2. So in the... Oh, and an emissary. It does get pinged by somebody. Don't know who that was. Probably Team 2 maybe. I don't see any Team 1. Do they know about it? Don't know anything about it. They haven't pinged it as of yet. We'll have to see. There are spy planes on their way to see what's going on. There's a lot of AA in the area, though. It will deny a lot of their intel gathering schemes. They will see the emissary, and they do not see the disruptor. So, I mean, you can see it. Not pinged with an icon, but you can still see it being built. They just need to, like, scroll over and see it. It's in the yellow already, almost close to 50%. I don't mean to apologize for zooming in and out constantly. And if you've been liking the cast so far, please like and comment down below. And, of course, if you haven't hit that sub button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. We do have that land army here from Info trying to push this position, but there's a couple of miasmas here, which will help halt this forward momentum from these bricks and other supporting units. And the fight will emerge. Aurora is trying to use their range advantage, but it's not really effective. Miasma is essentially doing most of the work. That's a nice grab, taking out a bouncer. And just kind of just making it very difficult for Team Red to just, or Info specifically, to just navigate. Just because it's, you know, a very tight spot. I would have liked, I think, the artillery to be put probably like right here more. You can get kind of a, oh, sorry about that. You can get a better angle on the ground. But there's even some Oblivion turrets, not Obsidian turrets. A lot of those bricks are being dealt with. That's the main DPS source for this group, and the restorers will come in and just go, nope. So Team Blue, or Gib, does hold this position quite well. The rock on which the red team's army dashes their hopes. They do kind of patrol back and forth, but again, not a whole lot of work that can be done on either side, essentially. You know, blue team can't push and red team can't get through. Again, still trying to make an effort, though. Those restorers need to come back. We need to help at least take out the bricks. And once you take out the bricks, then it's just open season. It does embolden the other forces here from Gib to push forward a little bit more, giving a little more breathing room to these miasmas to keep firing. Shields will be on point to help assist in defenses. But again, just due to the environment that Team 2 and Team 1 are fighting in, you can see there's a couple of these Oblivion turrets that are essentially just stuck. Can't fire that much due to the little hill that they have in front of them. It would have probably been better to position themselves here with a larger field of view. But I do understand creating a kill box. And if that was the case, probably should have put it back here, essentially. But the positioning isn't bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. Of course, I'm not the one playing the game, so I can't comment too much. Of course, these are decisions made in the moment and on a map you've never seen before, essentially, so kind of hard to, you know, judge one way or the other, but a large effort by J74 to hold just a patrol route constantly. I wonder what he's building to warrant this. You know, he's building some building some RASCOMs with a huge air grid. Not really building a whole lot. There is a Duke started by Luker, and he's doing the whole, like, transport fly back and forth thing. Haven't seen that in a long while. And a bunch of Percy's on Continentals. That's going to be an interesting play. Be very, very interesting. And I love that we have RASCOMs designed for eco, building more eco. So it's just then, you know, the whole perpetual motion machine. But the first firing has occurred from the emissary. Lands on top of that pigeon, takes out a decent chunk. Shields will go up right now. There's engineers nearby building a air facility. Another round comes in, and the ASF come in to target. I don't know what's going on. Oh, they're moving in for those strap bombers. Strap bombers are on their way. Nope. I need to switch to... Hold on. Switch to J. Grab one. Target. Take the icons off. Turn the camera, and here they come. ASF are engaging here to the right. And I've kept selection on those strap bombers. Here they come. They're trying to impact the shields. The bombs are away. Some of them are killed before the bombs go off. Shields are down. They do kill the emissary. That was a great grab, just barely. And Team 1 retains air control. The Continentals are called back, however. But man, they took out that artillery. Great move. It was taking out the air grid. Took out a decent chunk of it, to be fair. Still keeps, I think, at least 2/3 of it. And the hives nearby will help rep that up right quickly. But now shields are going to be everywhere here for J74. Does not want that happening again. All the more reason to get that disruptor, that Duke, online as quickly as possible. Team 1 has noticed, and there goes their own as well. Not the best positioning. I would rather have it be its own separate thing, maybe like right here. Or right here's a good spot. There's nothing here. But putting it next to a high-value target like an air grid, not the best idea. I understand not needing to build pigeons, but still. But that emissary is already halfway, almost halfway up. The disruptor was canceled just due to the emissary is faster. And they did need probably 2 more shields. Cybern's are pretty weak. UEF Aeon are pretty weak, so not great shielding, but they did have a lot more, SAM sites. They probably should put more here, just kind of have a layer, because the issue with SAM sites is they can only shoot targets that they first encounter, and then they have to reset and target another one. So having layers of them allows them to target multiple things at the same time, or different targets at the same time, allowing them to easily, take out rows of ASF or bombers. So that is a thing. We have 3 Fat Boys here for Luker holding that ground position. We do have that Duke. It is a little over half completed. And we have 3 experimental, 1 of each. They grab the monkey and the Colossus. Another one going to be built. That's 2 grabs. That's going to be a lot of firepower, and there's not a whole lot here. Again, Fat Boys are a lot, to be fair, but in terms of defenses, in terms of PD and shields, it's not a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Team 2's air players make a play and distract Team 1 while they go for the land push. Maybe, but I don't know. It's going to be difficult to say. We're just going to have to watch it. Okay, stop telling me I'm not tracking something anymore. That unit is already dead. A Zara under construction for JJ. They don't have air control, though. That's the issue. With Zars, the issue with experimental air units in general, they're fairly weak. They can be taken out very quickly. So the biggest, I don't know, it's not a waste of mass, but a better use of it would be have more air units and then go for it. I don't know, it's more like a chicken and egg. Like, do you go for it now, use the missiles at range, and that kind of thing. But the emissary has now been completed, and it's targeting something very interesting. It's going after the T3 mechs, as I mentioned a long time ago. This position, there's no protection, and will this one actually hit the middle of them? We'll have to see. Here it comes. I'm zooming in for effect. It lands, takes out that first T3 mechs. That was a direct shot. Good placement from that artillery, and then targets one and goes, nah, it's fine. I just want to target one because why not? The disruptor almost half done as well. Needs more shielding, and they're getting more, again, layered shielding. Very important in this game. And here comes that artillery. There's hardly any shielding built up. They only built the pigeons and the on the artillery. That's not great. Oh, this would be a great grab. You target this, take out a lot of RASCOMs. Shields are being built as we speak, though. Emissary is constantly firing, and we have that Duke firing as well. It should be going after the artillery here for Team 2. That's essentially what happens is it becomes locked in an artillery war. Where'd that shot go? Where's it? Where's the emissary firing at? I don't know. It's firing at the Duke, I think. Yeah, but the artillery from Team 1 is targeting the partial air grid here for Team 2's player JJ. Which is very interesting. There it goes. Hits a couple of mass storages. That's about it. Shield says info. Yeah, needs some shields right way. Second Duke under construction here for Luker. Hits a nice section here. Wants to probably cascade at least this one. And then maybe that would take out the rest of that hit points for the disruptor. But the emissary keeps moving. The best way to use an emissary, or any artillery in general, is to target the same thing multiple times before it, and then it dies. But it looks like an air fight starting to occur, but the restore... Oh, here it comes. It is fully engaged, and the restorers will come in. Oh, restorers come in. That's a normal AA you're just not using. Oh, they're focused on the ASFs. They're not focused on the gunships. It does look like Team 2 has a decent amount of chance to take out these air units for Team 1, and it does look like it's going to go this way. Restorers are going to be called forth to help assist. Again, they are known for their AA, and they have a lot of hit points, 6,000 hit points. It's going to take a while for these Cybran Geminis to deal with them, and that is air control here for Team 2. Rascom's dying at this secondary air facility here for Team 2. They still have their primary one, but it does look like it was damaged quite heavily from that artillery fire. But it does look like it is making work against it. It takes out 3-4 P-Gens. Great cascade effect. Drops that hit points a lot on that disruptor. Man, that's a nice grab. But Team 1's main goal is keeping their Duke online. They have, again, that transport nonsense of flying back and forth, trying to get hit by artillery. Essentially, it's a suicide play. Artillery constantly raining on this position to just deny Team 2's air. Spy planes coming in to get a nice idea of what's going on, but a lot of AA pressure denies most of them. The restorers are called forth on the eastern side. There's a monkey that was hauled forth to try to crack this position. That's going to be killed before it could even get there. There's a lot of AA coming off of these bouncers. That should be the next target. I feel like the restorers missed an opportunity to just kill the bouncers first and then everything else. And a lot of them would probably still be alive or still have most of their hit points, but they are being dealt with right now. And it does look like this push will not amount to a whole lot. Team 2 has air control, not dominance, but control. And we'll be able to do a lot with that. Now that makes a lot more sense that they build a Tsar now, which it stopped now, but JJ Sheridan doesn't have a lot of mass to his name. Only has 200. Which, you know, you say 200's not a lot, but when you're building a whole bunch of other stuff at the same time, it isn't really. But the second disruptor is online, and the third one is being built as we speak. The better play with making it in a straight line like this is there's only one connecting P-Gen versus two, and so the cascade effect can't happen as easily. I mean, yeah, if the artillery lands here, then, you know, it can take out those P-Gens, but it's a lot more likely that in this case, which is happening as well, it's in a line, but the shields go down around that Duke, and the artillery did strike some of those transports, taking out shields, and there goes the first Duke. It is offline. The shields need to come online right now. The second one comes in, takes out more P-Gens. Luker takes a hit, needs to get out of there. There's no shields now. That second Duke is not going to finish. The hopes for artillery rest with Team 1's player of J74, building this disruptor who has already taken a hit. I think it's actually almost done. You can see by the little bar right here, but it's already lost half its hit points. It will regen automatically just due to it being Cybran. But that should be the next target for Team 2, is targeting this one that is just finished. And that it does look like Luker could have taken a hit, but just was protected by the shield. The artillery needs to be retasked, but a third one is being built here by Team 2. So now it's, again, a huge effort from Team 2 to essentially just hold up and fire. Multiple SMDs built to protect this mass extractor facility. A large group of mass fabs being built here, of course, by Info. Those look like it's targeting... I don't know what it's targeting, just hopefully it's not haphazard things. Maybe taking out SMD, it looks like? Taking out a couple of T1 PD. Of course, Team 1 has the option of doing Telemazer, which Team 2 does have, but they have two of them versus one of them in terms of commanders. But now the artillery is retasked onto taking out that artillery, and there's a lot of fire coming off of these two artillery. I think a third one's online. Yep, it is online, and more shields, and then a Scathis. Just everything lined up in a row here for Team 2, which is, again, deadly to have if you have a lot of artillery coming off of Team 1 or a nuke lands. But since there's only one artillery for now, the shields are down. Again, Cybrans are not as strong as UEF. Luker takes another hit. P-Gen is down. Artillery comes in, takes out the shields once again. It comes back on just barely. That next one probably would have killed that disruptor outright. But lots and lots of pressure coming off of this artillery. There's another strap bomber rush coming on its way. But again, Team 2 has air control. They are targeting this position, which it's not like there's nothing to gain here. Like, realistically, it's going to take a while to just walk all the way over here and do something with it. But the strap bombers are coming in. But there's a lot of AA pressure from this SAM site. I don't know if they're going straight for the artillery, which if they are, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. There's a lot more shields now than there was the first time. Bombs impact the shielding. Oh, the bomb lands. Oh, it does kill the disruptor. Not disruptor, the emissary. Surprising. I thought it wouldn't. Oh, it was probably just the PGens that they killed. But there's still 2 disruptors firing versus 1. And that disruptor is still online, but just barely. Team 2 needs to retest this disruptor to target the other one. One's not going to be enough. I don't know where that other one is firing. Oh, it's taking out SMD? Again, why are you targeting? I mean, do you have a nuke somewhere that I don't know about, that I haven't noticed the entire game? No. I don't know of any nuke. That's an SMD. No, I don't know of any SMD. I don't know why you're targeting SMD if you don't have a nuke. The scath is currently being built, though, and the emissary being repaired. It does look like the disruptor is retasked. I feel like control of these should be under 1 player's control, not 2. It's a lot easier to micro. You don't have to constantly switch targets from 2 different players to just 1. But it looks like the shielding is starting to buckle once again. There's not a lot on the southern side. And you can see a lot of them are just losing hit points all the time. Or not hit points, but charge, I guess. I mean, I guess they are hit points. Charge, I don't know. But mass fab farms starting to be hit around those PGens. Not PGens, those Mechs. We are hitting about the 50-minute stage. Of course, we have one. Oh, we have a second one. Excuse me. Scathis v. Scathis here in this game. Which one will finish first? Scathis like 15% since JJ. And it's a race to the top or the bottom in some cases. Let's get a nice little view of the Scathis right here. Nice little shot of all these RASCOMs working on it. And then with the commander in the background with the stealth upgrade on. I feel like one of the... Oh, no, that's... He has the laser. He has stealth. He could easily go for teleporter next. But artillery is actually raining onto the Scathis here. And both players having that stealth upgrade. But one of them does not have the laser. Info doesn't have the laser. Nice little shot of theirs. They're working on who will finish first, essentially. And will it matter if the artillery lands and takes it out? I feel like Team 2 should refocus onto this to take it out. All it's giving is Jay time to build more and more shields to protect it. I mean, I know they're building the emissary again. Well, they stopped. I think redoubling their efforts on this Scathis. I mean, maybe the Scathis will decide who wins the game. I don't know. It's going to be difficult to say. You just see the little yellow dots flying across the map all the time. It does look like one artillery is focused on taking other things out, while the other one is focused at taking out the Scathis. The column of J is under threat, trying to take out, again, the SMD. I don't get the play if you don't have a nuke. The SMDs are only good for taking out nukes, and you don't have a nuke. There's another experimental down here. Now it's a crab. There's a lot more AA in the mix. Team 2 needs to watch out for this. You know, they have the restorers in tow for this. We have some ASS flying over the top here. Looks like they pushed on the ground with 4 crabs. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4 crabs and a monkey and a colossus versus only 3 Fat Boys and just a line of Ravagers that will never finish. This is a huge push by Team 2. This might cement their win. Not cement. This might guarantee the win if they can cross into Team 1's territory. The Shields still having a trouble holding out. The Aeon shielding do a decent job, but again, it's the radius that's really the huge issue. There's a tiny, tiny hole right here that they need to clog. But Strap Bombers come in once again from Team 1, and they're going to take out the first Disruptor. The second one will probably survive due to the fact that all of the bombs went for this one, but the mass is gone. They can't easily rebuild it. There's a lot more effort again for Mega and Team 2 to finish this. The shields are down, and they're trying to build more. Don't build P-gens, build shields. You need shields first, then P-gens. The artillery is the main issue. Looks like Team 1 will keep their Disruptor, but again, they have a land incursion to deal with. The first experimental is down. The Colossus, I think, just needs to keep walking forward. There's a lot of firepower coming off of these fat boys, though. Colossus needs to keep walking, can't stop moving. It needs to get this army closer and closer. More Perseus are on their way for defense. More Ravagers, of course, being built. But that Colossus taking up a lot of fire. It needs to just keep using that advantage. We have a group of Perseus going to hot drop on top of this position. I'm going to offer some temporary relief. You can see them just coming in the little sections. But there goes that Colossus. It is down. The crabs need to keep moving. You can't stop moving. Stop killing me, Extractor. You need to keep moving in this instance. You cannot stop moving. Team 1 has the range advantage. You need to get rid of that by taking out the fat boys. They're constantly pushing eastward. Team 1 is going to redouble their efforts to take care of this western approach. If you don't push now, of course, there's the Scathis to worry about, and they've stopped it for a while. They're rebuilding it. Maybe it was... I don't think it was taken out, but it does look like that crab does make an effort, but again, it's way in Team 2's territory, and there's a Colossus, a Tsar overhead. Most of those Perseus are dealt with. The first crab is going to go down. And now here comes the base annihilation. The fat boys are absconding as quickly as they can, trying to make their way out of harm's way. But of course, the crabs have a decent range on them, taking out production facilities, taking out anything and everything, essentially eliminating Lucre out of the game is probably the goal here. But you need to keep moving. You cannot stop moving. You need to keep moving in there, Mega. You have to use your Megas and push forward. I know you don't want to be shot by the fat boys, but doing the base damage doing damage to the base is one of the most important things. You need to eliminate a player essentially from the game, which is in this case Lucre. And they're still holding there's a lot of mass that's going to be here, and you need engineers to come in and take this. That Scathis is almost... Do we have another? We have another emissary. Oh, it's right here. Look at that. You need to put shielding around the Scathis. It's going to hurt, and that Disruptor is lacking shielding. That Disruptor is... A second one's being built here by Jay as well. But again, this is the main crux of this push. If they can get to this position, I think Team 2 has it. But the first crab does fall. The second one will fall on top of it. And there comes the third one. It's going to fall to this Ravager push. There are a decent amount of bricks here. They will not get close to that Disruptor. The third one is... Oh, the fourth one is turning around. The third one has fallen. They've done a lot of work, to be fair. But again, the fat boys are still online. If you don't take those out, it's going to be a heck of a hard issue. Heck of a hard time for Team 2 to break this once again. You can only do it once, essentially, which I've learned in this game. If you do a move once, that's about it. You got to make sure it sticks. More strap bombers called for to deal with the Megas. And there it goes. The last experimental is down. The last units are down. It did do a lot of work, to be fair, but you've left a ton of mass. Okay, there it goes. 200,000 mass in this section of the map. And hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them. But the Scathis is online? Oh, it's almost online. Looks like it has taken some damage. It was in the green at some point. But let's see. It says, oh, the shields are falling. And there goes the Scathis. It is down to Disruptor fire. But how... Oh, there are more Disruptors online here for Team 1 that I noticed. There's one here. There's one here, of course. Where else are they firing? There's a Duke up here for Team 1 as well. They're targeting the Scathis. It's not working. There is still that emissary online. Second one being built as we speak. But Team 2 had a golden opportunity to take out this position, but it just wasn't enough. The fat boys got out of there quick enough, and just so much fire was coming off of them. The Tsar will push in. The Tsar should have pushed in with the experimentals, the ones on the ground. Are they going to go after Lucre directly? I don't know. There's a lot of SAM sites, though, here. They're going to chew through that shielding. What is going on? It's going after Lucre directly, I think, but that Donut is losing a lot of hit points very quickly. The laser is activated. The crash is inbound. It's going to land on top of... Oh, it will not kill the Duke. That is... it's disappointing. Needed a couple more hit points on a couple of those pigeons. But the Scathus has been killed off for Team 2. They have 1 artillery left versus, what, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. A secondary Scathus was... Wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't know why you're building 2 of them. You might as well just build one of them. Mega Meon started the teleporter. Team 2 had a great opportunity, and it's just sad to see that not go the way they wanted it to. Oh no, what that one was targeting. Luker says move to his teammates. Don't know what that's about. But in terms of eco at the stage, Team 1 at 1.9, Team 2 at 1.7. And the Mega Million will build the teleporter upgrade and will just get out of there. He needs a lot of power to do that. And he has a decent amount, but needs a lot more resistance. He's on only 1,300 hit points. He's taken a couple hits. Building a Tsar right here is probably not the best idea due to where the artillery is constantly landing here. But Team 2 has another Tsar. I just don't know if it's really worth it at this point. Yeah, there's not a lot of air units for Team 1, but the game has transitioned from air to artillery. Emissaries, looks like a second one has been completed. Yep, and it is targeting the Scathus that has currently been finished for Team 1, and now that's going to be a huge thorn in their side. You know, the emissaries are puncturing the shields. There's hardly any shields left online. They're building a second Scathus. Not really worth the mass right now. You need to build more shielding. And there it goes. It comes, impacts. Does not take anything worthwhile lasting except 1 shield. That Scathus is going to move. Very risky play because it can't fire while it's moving. So, you know, you lose that advantage. Oh, it's redeploying. Maybe it decided to move and then stopped. But the shields are upgrading as we speak to get more hit points on them. You can see them once they finish, they get a full bar. The great advantage for regenning your shield's hit points. But with that Scathus, there it goes. It's just constantly bombarding Team 2. Where did the comm of Mega go? Mega, where's your comm? Clicked off screen there. Apologies. Where's your comm? You're over here to the east. You've taken out some mass and you're teleporting away. That's actually a good use of that to just try to deal some economic damage against Team 1. It teleports right next to the megalith. That's not... sorry, the megalith. The Scathus that's being built. There's some Rascoms nearby, and this is going to be a death by Team 2. The first kill of the game, credited to info action ratio. The Tsar on the top trying to avoid detection and AA, but it won't be able to make it in time. Oh, here comes the ASF here from Jay. It's dead. It's not going to last. There goes. It's going to crash on top of the mass fab farm. There it goes. Takes out a shield. That's about it. Restorers are called forth. They're not known for their ground fire potential, and some AA will be able to take care of that. Looks like another Tsar tried to come in from the backside. Takes out a mass fab farm, but that is it. It is now a 3v2 in favor of Team 1. Some shielding is being taken out, but it's just not lasting as long as they want, and they've already lost 1 artillery. They're going to lose the second one here pretty soon. Does look like... Yeah, Nailbiter says info. That's a good name for this. It is definitely a Nailbiter. It is on everyone's edge of their seats. Artillery going down all the time. Artillery being built, dying, being rebuilt, dying. You know, we have a push of 6 experimentals that got not really as far as they wanted to, but with 3 fat boys and a lot of defense, it did make a big difference. A second one will finish maybe by the end of the game. It's opening all the time, man. Yeah, Team 2 is just suffering under the weight of that Scathus. The comm of Gib does get... oh, he just control K, so it looks like he got shot. But he will control K. It's now a 3v1. It is JJ Sheridan versus the world here. You can just see the pressure coming off of that Scathus constantly. And, of course, the, 4 artillery that Team 1 has. So they essentially have 5, 6 if they finish the other Scathus, which they might. Well played all. GG says, so I get MVP, says info. Maybe. He did a really great... It took a while for him to get up and running, but eventually, man, he kicked it into high gear with that Scathus, of course, and just the massive mass fab farm that he did not finish, unfortunately. Where's the comm of JJ? Well, he is down here hanging out with some RAS comms. Are they teleporting? I think they're building a teleporter. Oh, are they going to do the teleport teleport Colossus play? They could do that. That'd be an interesting thing. That sacrifice. Is that what that upgrade is? Where is it? Sacrifice system. Yep, they're going to do the sacrifice play. But the comm does get taken out. I think it either was Control K. It doesn't look like he was killed. Most likely a Control K thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this in time. Because you need to build the sacrifice and you need to build the teleporter. And it was just not enough. Probably the best place to put it would have probably been just right. Maybe here. Oh, there's some RAS comms probably like right here. But that is a perfect game for Team 1. None of their comms died. They have all of their... Sorry, flawless game, not perfect game. A flawless game here for Team 1. Great job by... Everyone did a great job. Like, I mean, there's some things that everyone can work on, but in general, everyone did a great job. So congratulations to everyone in this game, to J74, Info Action Ratio, Luker, Mega Meon, Gib80, and JJ Sheridan. Great game. It took a little bit to get up and running. You know, it was pretty heavily focused on air, pretty much 45 minutes into it, and then artillery came a really big play later on. But again, thank you so much for everyone watching. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was, and of course, let me know how you feel with those comments and those subscriptions to the channel. Again, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. And of course, for the underrated player of the game, I honestly, I don't know. It's great, not comment. Great argument could be made for Info having the underrated player of the game. The Scathis did take a while to get up, but once it was up and running, it did cement Team 2's victory. He held the corner of the map essentially the entire game, except for the first 5 minutes. Held that corner, large eco boost to him. Tried to do what he could to take out this position. Eventually conquered it, but just took a long time. And he held it. So, credit to him. He did that. I feel like if Mega Meon had conquered this western side with his experimental rush, it would have been him. And look, if Maypro was started, look at that. But I feel like maybe Info does get credit for the underrated player of the game, so I'm going to give it to him. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.